We're struggling. Okay. We're struggling, but we're good. Eh, eh. Hi, everybody. I don't know where my AirPods are. If it's not one thing, it's the other. I found my glasses though. I found my motherfucking glasses. So we're very happy about that. Let's see here. Let's turn this show around. All right, cool. That works. What's up, everybody? You know, I'm feeling all over the place today. I'm not gonna lie. We are embracing the mess. We are embracing the mess. It's a fun mess, but it's still a mess. Oy. And I'm, just trying to show up. And I think that that's all that counts, right? Like, we just need to show up. If we show up, it's going to be a struggle, but we'll get through it. Also, it is okay to show up by not showing up. You know what I mean? If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Let me just tidy things up around here. I wanted to be out at 9:30, but I went for a walk with a friend and I loved meeting with her. And she's like my somatic therapy goddess. And she does a ton of amazing body work on me. And we are big fans of her, big fans. So we make room for the people in our life. Make room for people in our lives here. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. All right, fantastic. So I don't know how this is gonna look in what is it called? Vertical mode for folks on their mobiles, but we're trying it. We're trying this. What I want to go over today is the planetas. Where are the planetas? And also, more specifically, La Luna. Let's see. All right, let's see here. So it's April 29th. Let me tell you something about something. If I can tell you something about something. Hopefully the audio is okay. Hopefully the audio is okay. So here we go. Today's April 29th, but next Friday, sorry, this Friday, so in 2 days, it's gonna be a full moon in Scorpio. Full moon in Scorpio, what does that mean? And the reason I wanted to see where all the planets are is because we can talk about how that full moon in Scorpio vibes might be affecting, because of the other planets and what the vibe is. So, for instance, if 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planets are in Aries right now, then we can deduce that things are feeling a little hot and heavy. How hot and heavy? Aries being that sign that says, are you willing to reach for courage? Are you willing to use your voice? Especially with the signs um, that are with the planets that are in Aries. We've got Neptune, we've got Saturn, we've got Mars, we've got Mercury, and we have Chiron, which is not a planet, but it is a comet. And Chiron being in Aries on top of all of this says that Chiron is we call it the healing comet. And we can think of, especially like where our Chiron is in our own chart is an indication of what kind of avenues we will experience healing. And Chiron has been in Aries for a very long time, and is going to be eventually moving on, but Chiron has been this kind of force of, like, if you feel like you're being told a lot about healing and how to heal yourself and what are options to heal yourself and different modalities and all that stuff, it can feel very much in line with, like, it's very popular, right? And kind of like over the top, very raw, very honest, and be synonymous with this idea of like taking a leap for faith, taking a leap of faith. And that's very much that Chiron and Aries feeling. Now, with that being said, you can have that philosophy in your healing practice, your self-healing practice, but things are kind of moving in their own way around you, and you're measuring back and forth how you want to sort of integrate with those things around you. But when you have 4 planets, I said 5 planets, but Chiron was the 5th. When you have 4 planets, including Mercury, so we have planets that are in the inner, right, that are closer, and also in the outer, that are further away. With that Mercury, with Mars, right, those are right there. Those are very, like, in your face, um, very visual. Mercury is speech. It's how we talk. It's how we express ourselves. And when healing happens through vocalization, you don't know what's going to come out, right? The truth, the feelings. Is it feeling? Is it expression? Is it vocal stimming? Whatever it is, right? But it's through the vocalization of the self. And the voice, what does the voice do? The voice takes what is inside and releases it out into the wild, right? And then you have Mars, which is that planet of negotiation. Now we like to think of Mars as the warring planet, but in reality, personally, I like to think of Mars as the negotiation planet. It's just that war is kind of like the ultimate negotiation, right? You're negotiating bodies, you're negotiating artillery, you're negotiating uh, territory, right? There's a lot of negotiating happening. And it's like, what are you willing to do? And in those moments of high stress negotiation, what person comes out, right? What person comes out? And having Mars in Aries really says, which they're at home with each other, okay, is like, there's a confidence there. There's, I'm ready, let's go, right? Aries is all about having the courage to have courage. And then beyond that point, it's about bravery, which can be, stupid, Because it could be like, it's a scary thing. You should be feeling a little more cautious. But you're like, no, let's go. Like, I'm not even scared. Like, I know this is what it is. Let's go. But courage is like hesitancy because you're scared, because you have fear in your bones, and that's okay. Then when we go into bravery, right, where is your mind at? Are you brave because you know it's the right thing to do? Or are you brave because you don't give a fuck, right? So knowing kind of where you are in that spectrum when it comes to Aries and Mars and how that's been affecting you lately. And then we have Saturn and Mars. We like to think of Saturn as like the work planet. In Vedic astrology, Saturn is Papa Saturn. We don't fuck with Papa Saturn. In Vedic astrology, Saturn is, dare I say, the most important planet? I don't know. But they think of your Saturn the same way we think of the sun, right? And so having Saturn in Aries, there's a lot of power there. Saturn is a massive planet, right? And the question is, are you going to do right by what Saturn is asking of you? And Saturn in Aries says, yeah, you want to put in the work, you want the thing that you want, right? Well, then do it. Then do it. Will challenge you because Saturn wants you to prove your worth and prove that you actually deserve the thing that you're going to get at the end of the tunnel. Capricorn is at home in Saturn. And Capricorn is that sign that says, like, I'm going to work for what I want. And if you want something done, then do it, right? If you want to have something, then the operating word is do. It's not think, it's not this, it's not that, it's vocational purity. And vocational purity is all about the act. It's all about how you show up. It's all about how you present. Are you willing, right? Are you willing? So, with that being said, moving on to Neptune. Neptune is the cerebral planet, right? So Neptune is cerebral. Neptune in Aries. So Neptune in Aries, it's all about, it's so cool because actually we were talking about when Neptune transitioned from Pisces into Aries. And it's very much, or sorry, that Neptune transitioned into Aries. And that that sensation of going from cerebral to the very first planet of the zodiac is very much like a an arrival. It's very much an arrival. If you are, it's Ouroboros. It's the ending and the beginning meeting. And how will you decide to show up is like, will you be unequivocally, authentically aligned from the mind, right? From the mind to the action. Do these things line up? And Neptune wants you to be aligned. Neptune wants you to be aligned in how you do based on where your mental is at and what your philosophy is. What is your philosophy, right? What is your philosophy? What else? And so all of that, all of that Aries tension that exists, and we could call it tension, but it's also a release, right? I would say it's only a tension if you're not surrendering to it, but surrendering to it can also be, you have to be cautious, survive. And that's next. My philosophy, survive. Girl, for real. Also, are you catching me on mobile? Am I showing up on mobile? Or are you catching me on the computer? Do tell, do tell. but literally, like all these Aries, it just, to me, it's like, this is, yep, mobile. Okay, cool, 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 cool. It just feels like when push comes to shove. This Aries energy is just giving like when push comes to shove. And then on top of it, we got, what's interesting is that when we look at the astrological wheel, it looks like a mess, right? It looks like a computer puked up a bunch of symbols and just splattered a bunch of crap on there. But the best way to look at the astrological wheel is, where is the horizon line and where is the meridian? Okay. Because everything below the horizon line is the sensation of subjectivity, right? Subjectivity, the personal experience. And everything above the horizon line is in the vibration of like objectiveness. Objectiveness. Okay. On the left of the astrological wheel is the theme of freedom. So that sensation of like, I am in charge of my destiny. If I want something done, I must do it myself. And then on the right side of the meridian is fate. What is. What has been done is done. What will be, will be. There's the sense of just surrendering, right? Just surrender. So you can look at your own astrological wheel and see what placements you have. If you've got a cluster in one quadrant, if you've got a bunch like below the horizon line, above the horizon line, it can tell you if you have a tendency, either if it's a lot in the subjectivity, a lot to be coming from your own personal experience, and apply your own personal experience and your own personal perspective to whatever those signs are in, right? So maybe it can be like, if even if you do a lot of work or something, right, and say you are a storyteller, right? Maybe you have placements below the horizon line that help you come from that place of personability, right? And it can also get in the way. What will it be though? But what will it be? And where we have the placements right now of like where the planets are, we have a lot in this lower left quadrant where it's about freedom. If I want something done, I got to do it myself. And perspective, or sorry, and subjectivity. So it's like, this is my personal perspective, right? So we can find ourselves popping off because we're speaking from our own personal truth and what either we believe in, either past experiences, but we're speaking now without the filters of, does this make sense for you? Like, if I say it this way, will you understand better? It's like, nah, no. Like, are we going to pop off? I'm going to show you exactly who I am because you've showed me exactly who you are. Maybe you haven't been tested yet. Maybe it was actually so funny because somebody asked me, they were like, oh, how's this Aries season been for you? And blah, blah, blah. This was like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, with all this Aries energy and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm doing good. I was like, I'm doing good. I feel like, maybe I was getting a little cocky. I was like, you know what? Maybe it's like, if you're not reaching for courage, maybe like it's more difficult and blah, blah, blah. This whole, like a week or two later, I went off. I went off on somebody, and it was totally justified. And I have never talked to this person like that. And they felt like I raked them over the coals so hard. Actually, Vanessa knows who this person is. I raked this person over the coals so hard. They sent me a 2-minute apology voice note after. But that is the vibe of the season. That is totally the vibe of the season. Because then I messaged that girl back and I was like, you know what? My bad. Aries is is having an effect on all of us. And she was like, yeah, literally, this is exactly it. And so the question is like, just how is that showing up for you? How is that showing up? Right. So I focus on that energy only because there's so much going on there. Right. There's so much going on there. But what's interesting is that we've got a lot of with where the moon is going to be in a couple days, and that's full moon in Scorpio. Okay, full moon in Scorpio. Full moon is kind of like, if we think evolutionarily speaking, full moon is when there's the most energy. Why? Because there's the most light. So there's the least amount of sleeping. It might be when certain crops are, there's more activity. Certain crops are planted, when certain rituals are done, because there's essentially more light. So even though the sun has gone down, there you are still illuminated, right? You are still illuminated. There's still activity. So that sense of activity, it's this fullness energy. It's this energy of do. It's this energy of be. It's this energy of like, okay, right? If the new moon is resting, right? So if you're in a black moon, you're resting. Full moon is gonna be the opposite of that, right? You're not resting, you're popping off. And being in Scorpio, well, what is Scorpio? I like to think of Scorpio as an honorary fire sign. A lot of us homies do, okay? And being an honorary fire sign when we already have all these um all these features motorboating up on Aries. um it's interesting because the question then is like, why can't y'all get along? And that's because Scorpio is the energy of, traditionally we think of mystery, we think of taboo, we think of, where is the place that you do not want to go? Scorpio will want to venture there. And not for the same reason as Aries. Aries wants to access their courage. Scorpio is in pursuit of the philosophical disruption of the mystery. Scorpio wants to dive into the darkness and see what comes out. Scorpio is curious. There's a curiosity there. Like when we say curiosity killed the cat was probably a Scorpio. Right? The cat was probably a Scorpio. Yeah. So that says that's almost like putting that Aries vibe on check, because all those Aries vibes, again, if you're coming from the personal perspective and you're saying, I got to do what I got to do to get what I need to done, and I need to honor my truth, right? The shadow side of that is, when am I being courageous or brave for the right reason because I know it's the right thing? Or am I being brave because people are fucking stupid? Right? Because when we come in from that energy and we come from the pettiness for the fight, right? And that's what, and Aries loves that too. Aries, that's the shadow side of Aries. Is like, let's fight to fight, which is like literally my youngest child, because God help me. God help me. Like, she's bored and she will literally just like do 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 back on her sister. I'm just like, and then she runs away. She's all laughing, and her sister's like, "Ew!" And she's like, "Meh." And they're just for an hour, just like crying, screaming, laughing, crying, screaming, laughing, crying, screaming, laughing. Oh my God, help us all. Anyways, but that's Aries, and she's not an Aries, by the way. But actually, I haven't even looked at her chart. I try not to look at my kids' charts because, I feel like that's their own business. And you don't want to find yourself like, I don't know what I don't know. And I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm accidentally like parenting my children for the future of who they are versus like who they are in the now and just like doing my best in the now. Unless, sometimes it has come up where I'm like, what is happening? Like, I need to help her, just like what could be her comfort zone and help her like find that comfort. Then, or like my kids, just all of them, right? I could see myself doing that, but I haven't looked. I mean, I had to have, but it's been so long. Violence, yes. I mean, I'm saying it's fun. It's fun when it's with people. I don't know. I don't know. I honor all my parts. We'll just say that. And there is a part of me that is petty, that is violent, that is ready to throw down, and has a and is my Boston Polar. As soon as they are spewed out. That's you. Yes, Vanessa. Vanessa's like education all day. I definitely look at like when they'll be born, like what kind of stuff is going on when they're born. But then I don't ever like look at their chart in completion. And you know what? I'll do it soon. I gotta get off my high horse, because I know I've looked at their charts. I just need to be, I think, a little bit more like, okay, I'm ready. I'm not doing this passively. Anyways, whatever. But also, like, yeah, I had a friend who her friend was a master astrologer, and literally she asked this woman, she was like, can you look up my son's chart? And they're like best friends, like sisters. And the astrologer told me, because I knew both of them, she was like, she doesn't want to know. And her friend was like, yeah, I trust you. I don't want to know. She's like, because there's some shit, real shit in there. Can you imagine like parenting your child all scared, or like being like way too hard on them and they're just like, I don't know. I need to know that ascendant in real time. I check those charts whilst in labor. Yes. I tried to. I've had three, but I wasn't good at it. Also because I can't control it. Athena came jumping out. Okay. And Iskra girl, we were worried about her. We were like, what is going on? Like, there's so much stuff that was happening. I wanted her to come out sooner. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on. She came out purple. She came out purple. Um, that's also because she has zero melanin. So the purple was really just her blood. Dairies? What's dairies? Dairies? Oh, Drew's chart. It's terrifying. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. When you look at your kid's chart and you're like side eyeing your own child, girl, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that because I already do that enough. No, I don't. Yes, I do. Oh, parenting is so hard. No, being a default parent is hard. Girl, I'm tired. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. But I digress. So, where are we at with that Scorpio? Scorpio and Moon, or Moon and Scorpio. I meant Drew. Okay. I I felt that. I felt that. But the Moon in Scorpio is like playing with that Aries energy, and it's like, you want to fight? Let's go. Like, come on. Like, what do you think's gonna happen? Like, maybe something's gonna happen. Like, maybe they're hiding something from you. Like, maybe like I don't know, right? Like that full moon in Scorpio is gonna be like trying to get a rise out of all the energy, the Aries energy. Okay, so terrifying. It's like, you wrote dairy. It says alter ego. Dairy is where it is at. Oh shoot. Oh, that is terrifying. Oh my god. Too much. It's too much. It's all too much. So But what is going to happen with the Scorpio is that it is going to be eventually, hold on, let me go ahead to 29th. Oh no. I want to see where everything's going to be at when the full moon hits because, ooh, oh, sorry. When I said I want to see where the full moon's going to be at, y'all, there is this hard red line from the moon to the sun. And what is the sun in right now? It's in Taurus. It's in Taurus. Dang. It's, yeah. So the sun in Taurus energy is like, where is your comfort zone? Okay, where is your comfort zone? Trying to get back to your comfort zone, trying to maybe give yourself a break where you need to. Um, Bye, love you. Giving yourself a break where you need to. Trying to, why does this child always have to slam the door? Anyway, who's picking him up? Who's picking him up? Who's picking him up? I can't see. Can't see this. Spying on my kid. Who is this? Who are you? Which one are you? It's Matthew. It's Matthew. Matthew, his Aries friend, who reminds me so much of me. And I was a kid. The child is loud and funny and loyal. I'm like, Robert, don't let that one go. Anyways, hi, we're back. So yeah, so Scorpio. So with that Taurus in the sun, you might be asking yourself lately, like, where is comfort zone for me? How am I taking care of me? Maybe there's some more self-care. Maybe you're redoing your self-care routine, right? Maybe you're just trying to emphasize that more in your sort of daily life. Excellent. Love it. But the fact that it's going to be at such stark contrast with that Scorpio moon, it's like, what is happening? Like, why is there going to be such a stark contrast? It depends on each person. It depends on each person. You know, every single person is unique and it's different, and some things will hit with one person and will not hit with the other, right? And so you may be like how I was 2, 3 weeks ago, where you're like, Aries season has not been, that all that Aries energy. I'm good. I'm good. Life is good. We're chilling. We're rolling. We're in our vibes. And then something happens. And then something happens. Okay, something happens. This Scorpio energy, it can linger past, it can linger forward. The question that Scorpio energy in the full moon is asking you is, where are you willing to go that you wouldn't normally? Where are you willing to go that you wouldn't normally? And what's interesting is that with Taurus's shadow side is too much routine, is like being stuck in their ways, needing certain things the same way all the time, being homebodies, stuck at home. This is the thing that I do, and this is when I do it. And just finding comfort in that and never challenging themselves, right? So, what is something that you have thought about doing, but you don't know what could come out of it? And it's scary, but it's not like, and what are the opportunities? No, Scorpio gives you the look that my baby gives. Yeah, so my baby gives this look. I don't know where she got it from, honestly, because I don't look at these children like this. She's like, that's Scorpio. Okay. Scorpio's looking at you like, what do you really want? Where are you really interested in venturing? Where are the parts of you that you are not letting the sun hit? So we'll let it deflect through the moon, right? Because what is the light off of the moon? It's from the sun. That's why you get your full moon, because right? So, how are you going to show up for yourself? How are you going to show up for yourself? How are you going to allow yourself to venture into curiosities that feel dangerous, right? That feel dangerous. That feel dangerous. There you go. Do you feel dangerous? Feeling dangerous lately? Lately? But what is interesting is that Scorpio moon is above the horizon line. So we're talking about objectivity and fate. Fate. So you may need to hold on to your haunches and just let what needs to be. Because it's like when you're on the ride at Disneyland or at Six Flags and you're like, okay, here we go, right? And then you're like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. This is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. But you're locked in. You've got to do it. You've got to do it. You actually, like, you need to accept your fate. You need to accept your fate. The question is, will you accept your fate? Will you accept your fate? And will you remain in the objective mindset that of what are the lessons that you can learn from this? Instead of feeling like a victim of it. Unless it's crack, don't do that. You know what? Sound advice. Vanessa, sound advice. I'll just say that. Sound advice. Oh my God. Too much. It's too much. Who wants a reading? Who wants a reading? Vanessa, you want a reading? Want some cads? Want some cads? Oh. Yeah, don't do crack. Don't do crack. Don't do crack. Mm-mm. Oh, who wants a reading? Who wants a reading? And then we can do also, yeah, we'll do reading for this full moon. For this full moon in Scorpio. Me. Me. General and Gianna. Gianna definitely wants one. Gianna definitely wants one. We'll do you first. What specifically? What are we looking at? Are we looking at? What are we looking at? I'm gonna look at personal, professional. I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired. I actually started, maybe this wasn't the way to go. Started doing this like mushroom coffee, and I'm sure it's great, but I haven't been finishing it. Also, I didn't eat anything. I probably needed to eat something. Probably needed to eat something. Ooh, that's a good one. Future career relocation. Oh, I got you. Don't worry. How did you spell it? With an I? Okay. career and location. We'll do future career first. Career relevance. For you, right? For Vanessa. For Vanessa. We talking Vanessa? We talking Gianna? One must clarify. Because I was going to do it for you, but then I realized I may be wrong. And I'm okay with being wrong. Oh, somebody left the door open. I hear a fly. Poor guy. We doing for you or for Gianna? For you. Okay. You got it. Perfect. All right. Please and thank you. Career, future career. Concerns your heights and grades, good on heights, and that's right. Please and thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh. Love it. That's great. We got let's expound on this, please, and thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so you're very welcome. We just pop out with the sun. Okay, Leo. Okay, Leo energy popping out with the sun. So future career, when I look at this card, I think of and especially in that Leo energy, it's authentic expression. It's authentic being. And it's so funny because this has been such a theme in the last, I feel like month, probably. But when we are doing things that we like, that align with our value systems, that bring us joy, when we're creating in our day to day, just doing stuff that aligns with us and who we already are, we are fulfilling purpose. And I feel like that is this. This to me says purpose. Had to run in town for some garden supplies. I mean, yes, always yes to garden supplies. I'm terrible when I go to like Home Depot or anything. I always get way too much stuff. Anyways, so this to me, Vanessa, it feels like whatever it is that you're going to be doing, you're going to be in your authentic expression of self. All right. Then we asked for expounding on it. Now, here we have the Two of Coins. The Two of Coins tells me that, okay, that's crazy. That's a really good deal. Sorry, ADHD. The Two of Coins is this, you're weighing options, but I see a grace here where you're able to do multiple things. So maybe even like a multi hyphenate, right? Balancing multiple things. And there may be this sense of like, working to choose what makes sense in the moment. And you've got to get really good at defining what those priorities are. Because I also got this moon card, and the moon card to me says, okay, it says a lot of things. One, it's that this is in line with, and dare I say, and I don't like to say this, but dreams, right? Your dreams, what it is that you have dreamt of. But it's also the being cautious about delusion. Okay. And I think that's where the balance comes in. Definitely feels like you need to balance delusion with the dream, right? Delusion with reality. How are you going to function truly in the day to day as opposed to just the idea of, right? Because this is great, but again, we have to check off these boxes on the daily. It's not just about the milestones we reach, but it's about how do we show up every day in alignment with our value systems and the things that we truly love, right? And so you need to ask yourself, where are you feeling stretched in, almost like I'm, because the dream card, the shadow side is desperation, right? That delusion is desperation. But if you can be in your awareness of where you're feeling that desperation and releasing that, you can be in better balance and saying, I can have it all, right? I can have everything that I want because I'm being in my true authentic self. And then you're not actually sacrificing anything because you're being what you want and who you want to be when you want to be that person, right? Because you're in alignment with your values and you're doing the things that you like to do when you like to do them. And that's integrated in your day to day, right? The sun is every day. The sun is every day. The sun shows up in our lives every day, unless you're in Alaska. Then sorry, homies. Because there's a whole season where you don't see the sun. That's why I married a Capricorn. There you go. There you go. Facts and samesies. Because I'm like, somebody got to reel me in. Somebody got to reel me in. So, being able to be in your awareness of what is providing you peace and joy versus anxiety and delusion. Okay. Because when we are desperate, when we are coming from a place of desperation, then we're not functioning from a place of daily joy, right? We're not able to like just be able to get up and enjoy our shower. We're not able to get up and just enjoy, right? Like taking a walk when we want to and when we need to and taking care of ourselves and going, yeah, I need to go for a walk. And then being able to enjoy that walk. Yeah, I need to stretch. And then being able to enjoy that stretch, right? When we come from a place of desperation, everything we do feels unsatisfactory. Everything feels like a chore and just getting in the way of these big ideas. When in reality, it's the day to day. Oh my God, everybody's here. What's up? Hey, I love you too. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Tawny's got the magical green thumb. I can't believe, Joss, you're here. I'm gonna hit you up afterwards because I got questions. Um, but yeah, does that help? Does that help, Vanessa? Also, I'm gonna pull a lesson card for you. Just overarching, we're gonna say theme and lesson to kind of hold on to that's gonna anchor this point down for you. Okay. And then I just think that's the way. Ooh, interesting. Relationships. I kind of love that. Relationships. I'm attracted to those people who serve my higher good. Love that. So when it comes to, right, coming into this place, it's also being able to recognize. I mean, we just talked about your husband, right? But when we are coming from a place of desperation, when people sell us magic beans, we are in a place of, right? What is the reality? And am I desperate, or am I coming from a place of like I'm already enjoying my peace and my joy, right? And Are you going to support that, or are you selling me further delusion? Right. And then also keeping your, I mean, yeah, it's like keep your husband close, but how much closer can you keep him? But lean on that. That really is key. So you saying that, it's like, I think you need to, I think you already do, but just being even more in your awareness. I do this with my husband too, actually, Capricorns. I do this with my husband too, where periodically I'm like, you are now my consultant. Like I'm just gonna, and I do that, like I refresh on that intention, like whenever I want. I'm just like, I'll just feel it. And I'm just like, okay, you're just like, you have to be the person that I talk to when when I commit to doing this, or when I'm thinking about this, or da 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 da. Like I always just recommit. It's almost like renewing our vows. Like I'm like, you are the smarter one. Like you are the more strategic one. Not the smarter one, but he is the more strategic. And our husbands know us and they want joy for us. They want us to feel love. And they also know like everything that we're juggling, right? Like they know what we're juggling. So being able to refer back to them and give up some, right? Some surrender, right? And let our husbands hold us. It's like gardening. Sometimes we have to, do things, we have to clip things. And I know when I'm handling my plants, I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, "Ooh," I'm like, I don't want to cut you. I don't want to take that off of you. I don't want to move you. Like, are you okay? But your husband's gonna be like, no, like, I know this is gonna hurt, but this is the best way. Like, this is taking everything into consideration, and it just ultimately how we're gonna grow even more. Because it's gonna hurt for a little bit, right? But ultimately, it's about the long term. It's about the long term, boo. So yeah. All right. Okay, relocation. Let's do relocation real quick. Relocation as it signifies and brings good and nice and nice way. Please and thank you. Oh God. I, there's some anger. I feel some anger. Kind of saw some of these. Okay, so when it comes to relocation, it feels like there's definitely energy of needing to be at peace with certain decisions. First, I got the Nine of Swords. Okay, so when I think about relocation and the Nine of Swords, it's like, no, no. So I don't know exactly what that means, but I do see that there needs to be a sense of inner peace when it comes to that decision when it happens. And there's just a lot of pain in the process. We've got the three of swords, which feels like, yeah, you just feel like, is it bad timing? Is it like it's not happening when it's supposed to be happening? Death, right? There's like a conclusion. There's going to be a decision that's ultimately made, but it feels like I almost feel, actually, this is totally giving like this last move that I had with, that we had, where I literally feel like, I felt like Sark made all the decisions and I just had to go along with it, even though it was a bigger house, even though it was like gorgeous, had a even a better view, even more beautiful backyard, still in the same, like all these things checked off the boxes, but move. It was a move. Like, how you gonna do this? Literally, it was like 2 weeks into the school year. Like the school year just started, and we just got off of like crazy ass summer. it was it was hell. It was hell. It was mental hell, and I feel like everything that's this. I feel like that's this. It just feels like right? And I'll be able to show there you go. But here's where it turns around. Here's where it turns around. We have the Queen of Cups and we have the world. Nope, this one. We have the world. Okay. So this tells me that there is going to be a definite sense of peace, a definite sense of like, this was the only way. This was the only way that this could have happened. Just like absolute, complete 360 perspective. You're going to have, um, like 20, what is it? Hindsight is 2020. And I feel like that's where it's going to be. And it's going to be, you're going to be so much more able to actually be, um, the mother that you want to be. Like, that's a big statement. But I feel like there's going to be a nurturing and a peace that comes from you that, that you weren't expecting, that you wouldn't necessarily be able to expect because of the amount of stress that that move was putting in for you or will put in for you. So it's gonna suck. And you're going to be teetering on this. This came out like this, which always tells me it's like a balancing act of like, like this is the struggle, right? This is the contention point, and it's like finding peace. You're going to really try to find peace. You're really going to try to find like the inner sanctum of why. But it's going to be with a fiery vengeance that you're going to be like reluctantly dumpster diving into this fire. So, Tawny, but change is meant to feel uncomfortable because staying comfortable doesn't allow you to become the person you are trying to, I'm going to say, to become. 100%. 100%. And I feel like even when we know, I tell people like the hardest part, like there's two really, really hard things. One of them is this. It's when you absolutely know without an iota of a doubt that you have to do something. You have to do something. You know that there's no other way. There's literally like there's no other way. There's no other way. Be it, um you got to leave your job. You know you're in that moment. I know I have to quit. I know I have to quit a relationship or a marriage or a friendship, right? Where you're like, I know this has to stop. I know, right? But you're like, I know. And then even though you have the action, right after the action, you have absolutely zero clue. Zero clue. It is the prime definition of leap of faith. Prime definition of leap of faith. Because you know what you have to do and you have no idea what's going to happen afterwards. And I feel like that's where, yes, exactly. No other way. Exactly. And that's where you are right now. Exactly. You know that it has to happen and you have absolutely zero clue. And I feel like, right, it makes sense leveraging your husband, knowing that it really feels like, I mean, from this I can deduce that the answer is going to be presented to you. It's almost like you're going to feel like you have very little choice except for just to accept or decline, but you know that you can't decline. It's basically like, I mean, it's not exactly like this, but it's like you go to the cafeteria and like that's all they're serving. Sorry, boo. This is what it is, right? And you're just like, I'm starving and I absolutely have to eat or else I'm going to pass out. Here we go. And then you're like, oh, shoot, this is good. You're like, can I have seconds? Where's the share cart? Right? I just saw this the other day at my daughter's elementary school. There's a share cart. There's a share cart. So if you have anything that's like unopened, you can take it to the cart. And then kids who want seconds or thirds or whatever, they can go and take one. they can go take one to the share cart. Yeah. So you're like sitting here, you're like, where's the share cart? Got some more ghetto ass pepperoni pizza because it's good. Right? Right? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. There we go. There we go. Okay, cool. Let's do Gianna's. Let's do Gianna. I do Gianna career. I do Gianna career. Feel kind of weird. I mean, it is your baby, so you can give permission. But um, with that being said, would you like Gianna reading her career reading? Because it also pertains to you, because you her chauffeur. You're her manager at this point. So that we want to look at. I can after this, I can do one more reading, Tawny, if you like. Anybody else? I can do one more reading. Yes, because I have to prepare for a session. Done, done, done. Okay. I'm here for the laughs. Oh, let's see here. Gianna. Thank you. Career. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Ooh, okay. Okay, let's just do that. All right. Here we have the Hanged Man. And it literally is just saying patience. I think the vibe checks. I think the vibe checks. Patience. Okay. Patience. And then we get this whole story, girl. We got this whole story. Okay. Where it's like we got negotiations, we got exploration, we got becoming the like there's just like which is crazy to talk about because she's so little, but like being a go-to, being seen as a go-to, being seen as like the one, right? Like, oh, we want this done, like let's call Gianna, right? And then this is where it like becomes like a job, right? This is where it becomes a job. And it's like work, structure, go. Work, da, da, right? There's going to be a lot of structure here. There's going to be a lot of it. And she's going to thrive on that. She really thrives in like having her routine and not having too much chaos, right? Because a lot of what she does, different locations, different this, different that. But if she's on as consistent of a schedule as possible, it will not be um, a lot for her, right? Like she'll be able to thrive, she'll be able to function. And then when she has her lows or whatever, because we all like that's just being a human, it won't be hard to be able to support her and have space for her. Okay. Because you guys will have a system in place. And then the Hierophant, which to me just says like, it's just like finding a genuine peace and it's a little too much to say ascension, but it's like this it's like in Spanish we say in su salsa, right? In su salsa. In su salsa is like she's going to be doing the thing that she's supposed to be doing. There's like this veteranism there and she'll have more opportunities actually. She'll have even more opportunities when it comes to her career, maybe because she starts so young or whatever it is, but it feels like even these wings, it's like stretching, like her wings will be able to stretch out. She'll be able to maybe do other things, but she's going to have a foundation where she's been supported, she's been loved, she's been, nurtured, she's been allowed to grow in the way that fits her personality and fits the things that she likes, that her purpose will be able to expand, right? Because again, when we are doing things that align with our value system, doing things that we're interested in, that we're passionate about, that we think are cool, and we're engaging in those things, we're just naturally executing on our purpose. And when she's able to do that so young, she's able to have a much more, like, much cooler jumping off point wherever she wants to go from that point, and however her purpose wants to evolve. So, and it feels like, I feel like it'll be very clear for her. She'll feel very clear. Like, it'll just be like, she'll feel like, kind of not simple about it, but she'll be like, yeah, like, this is what makes sense, and this is where, I'm feeling like I need to go, or this is what I want to do. And then it's just going to be a matter of like that transition. And I feel like that's going to be kind of phase 2 for her. But there you go. That's very cool. I love that. I love that. And yeah, the beginning, just going back quickly to like negotiations, I feel like a lot of what is going on right now is like puro negotiations. Like, it's like, how does this work? How does that work? How do we want to like function here? How do, like, a lot of decision making, a lot of decision making. And then there's going to be a point where you're able to just be like curious and like allowed to explore, right? Because there's going to be options. Okay. So you're able to explore, like, do you want to do this? You want to do that, right? You want to be niche here. You want to be niche there. And then she's going to find her thing. She's going to find her thing. She's going to be like that go to. And then that's when the structure comes in and able to create more of a foundation for her to thrive. You're welcome. You're welcome. Oh, I'm so happy we got to do that for Gigi. Princess Gigi. Goddessina. Goddessina. Please don't want to give other people a chance. There is no one before you. This is a small operation right now. So, and also I feel like I can read for people as long as possible, give people like very long readings, which is nice because I don't have the pressure of a long list or anything. But this is perfect. I love this. If possible, you're able to connect with specific ancestors. I have two that have really been presenting themselves to me lately, and I'm just curious as to what the message is. Okay, yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Okay, one of them. Okay, I don't know how they're presenting to you, but one of them, I just keep getting like this. Well, one of them feels passive. I should say that. One of them feels passive, and the other one feels more like trying to make a presence, or trying to be like more influential, if that makes sense. Or like has like an active, because we have ancestors that are kind of like hanging around, and they're just kind of like, they just want you to know that they support you, they're here for you. Or you have ancestors that are just like hella in the background, that are just like, we're here for the show. you know um and then you have an ancestor who's also like, yeah, who's like wants you to know something, or wants you to like, um yeah, wants like, has a purpose. Okay, so I would say that one of them feels more passive, just wants you to know that they're there. Rebecca Nurse and Anne Boleyn. Oh, interesting. Rebecca Nurse. Rebecca Nurse. Why does it sound familiar? And Anne Boleyn. Right. Isn't Anne Boleyn the active one? Feels like Rebecca because she was hung for witchcraft for being an herbalist. And that has really been my drive lately. Oh, interesting. Okay, so when the one that's active, I kept getting stomach stuff. And that can mean a couple different things. It felt like one was like to do the act of of doing, and then also, and like, not cleansing, of I'm hearing kind of like practice what you preach, almost like do what you um like when it comes to supplements, when it comes to uh being a conduit. All right, when it comes to being a conduit and a support for others, allow yourself to be a support for yourself, right? And so it's almost like feed yourself before feeding others. But I am seeing, right, it's like help yourself before you can help others. You have to put the mask on yourself before you can help others. The active one feels like, what's really interesting too is I don't know the story with Rebecca, but I almost wonder if that's the, if she was caught because she was overextending herself helping others, and that's how she got caught, or that was, you know what I mean, like she wasn't doing, well, it feels like a stretch to say that, but I was going to say, like, it's like she wasn't taking care of herself, but she was in pursuit of the craft, for sure. She was in pursuit of the craft and helping. um but I think I almost feel like one of her regrets was like not doing more work on herself, like not learning more about herself. Wow. I almost feel like, yeah, when she was up there getting burnt, it was like, why didn't I? Like, I did all this stuff out there. I did all this pursuit, and yet like, what, like, at least it wouldn't have hurt so much for her getting caught and being burnt. Obviously, it's going to hurt, but it's like, it wouldn't have been so deeply painful if she had been doing like self work, if that makes sense. That she would have been more at peace, I think. I believe she was, or Anne Boleyn was King Henry VIII's second wife, also beheaded for witchcraft. Oh, I believe she was. Like, she was very vocal about her apothecary. Like, she was a local pharmacist. There you go. Okay, so that makes sense. Yeah, 100%. So it's like she was more in pursuit of the craft, in pursuit of like the thing, and instead of feeding herself, right? So she wasn't feeding herself before kind of feeding others. She was like, oh, wow, okay, cool, right? But she wasn't like taking space for her. She wasn't carving out space for herself. And I think she feels like she kind of got ahead of herself, not because she put herself too far out there, but it's more like she didn't leave anything else for her. She didn't leave anything else for her. And then Anne Boleyn, let me just double check. Um, do you have a relation to Anne Boleyn? Has she talked to you? Has she communicated with you? Is it because, again, it feels more um oh my god, I got so emotional hearing that she wasn't feeling taking space for herself, because I definitely feel like that is her message and reminder to me. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's like, it's crazy because the image is literally like her getting burnt, and she's just like, how am I dying for? And it's not that she regretted helping others, but she's like, at least if I could die for, like, knowing that I stood 10 toes down, kind of thing, like that I did right by myself. Which is wild, because you would think like, oh, but she was like doing her thing, and she was like doing this thing that people disagreed with, and she was standing 10 toes down, and she was doing right by her. But what we do and who we are, right, can be just are just parts. That thing that we do is just a part of who we are. It's just one part. And that's why mortality is one of those things that we have to ask ourselves, like, what does mortality actually mean? Like, it's not about what happens afterwards, because sometimes that can feel like a scapegoat, because then we can just feel like, oh, well, I have another life. But it's like, but at the end of your life, like, what really matters? What really truly matters? And you hear that a lot, right? Of like, carving out space for yourself, and living your authentic self, right? Living your authentic self is, I think, one of like a really popular regret, that has been recorded on people's deathbeds. But yeah, it just feels like she feels like, yeah, it feels like she was dying more for other people than she felt like she was dying for herself, if that makes sense. And I don't even want to say like she felt like she was dying for helping other people, because that's not the point, right? She helped other people and that was coming from her, but it's like she was dying for others, like because of how much energy she put into other people and how little she gave back to herself, right? Like at the end of the day, like you still matter. You still matter. And I think that that's what she realized that she was missing the plot on. She realized that she wasn't giving herself enough room to matter. She wasn't giving herself enough room to matter. Um and Bolin, I will say, is not as deep and not as powerful. Although I don't know. I mean, but actually I do feel like it's actually it's cute. It's cute. Um it feels like, I don't know what her relation is to you. I don't know if there is lineage there or whatever. But it definitely feels like, or how you've been able to channel or connect with her. But she doesn't, it doesn't feel like she talks much. It doesn't, like, she's literally watching. But what I see her is, I see her do this. I see her do this. And first I was like, what's this? Like, take care of your mind. And no, but she's like being cute about it. She's like being cute about it. And it's like she thinks that you're pretty. And she's like, she's so pretty. I don't know. But I just see like, like I don't know if you, yes, Anne is an ancestor, but I feel distant to her. Like you said, I feel like she has just shut herself off from communication. Girl, she doesn't feel like that's exactly what it is. You're her, that's why. Because you're like her great 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 granddaughter. So you're like her, like she looks at you and she's like, so cute. Oh my god. But she's just like a quiet grandmother that's mute and just like quietly adores, Does that make sense? I read her diary as a kid, and she was very shy and private like that. Go figure. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. But like in her state, I will say she doesn't come off as shy. She just comes off as like quiet confidence, and not confidence necessarily. Just more like, like she know. It's like, yeah, when a grandmother adores you, but it doesn't come off as like like good girl, and it doesn't come off as like looking up to you, or because she's not a child, so it feels very, yeah. Does that make sense? But I just see her like, yeah, being like, she's so pretty. I don't know if they did this before, what to symbolize, like if somebody was like, had like very sweet facial, or maybe you have her forehead, I don't know, girl. Like, but I just see her as being like Right. Like there's very much like that feeling. But yeah, that's cool. I love that. That's so fun. Go figure. Anne Boleyn. Yes. Yeah. She's just kind of like in awe of you. Like it doesn't feel like she has anything to offer you. She's just like literally, she's just like, yeah, like, oh, cutie. Like, she's so pretty. Yeah, I don't think she's like in a place where she feels like she needs to provide you with anything and or like I think there's just such a chasm I think of experience. It feels like like when you come from different worlds but you just know that you feel um an unequivocal like love for someone. Um you just it's true love, like it's acceptance, it's allowance. She looks at you with acceptance and with allowance, and she and that's just uh easy for her. It feels very easy. She's just existing in your presence, and vice versa. So yeah. Yay. Love that. What a wonderful reading to end on. That was awesome. Thank you, lovely ladies. This was so fun, and I got to connect with all of you wonderful people, and I just appreciate you all. Thank you so much for allowing me to witness you and your beautiful, beautiful journeys and experiences and everything that that means. Oh, the puppy's coming in. Hey, Dad. Relax. But yeah, thank you very much. I definitely needed that. Love you too. You're amazing. You're all amazing. You're all awesome. Beautiful. Already perfect. And you got this. All right. I love you all. I'll talk to you later. Bye. About to flip this bad girl around.